Good morning, y'all. So the other day I got to thinking when I was posting about Uncle Philip that I haven't really posted a whole lot about my daddy. So that's what I'm going to do today. And I'm going to deem it Confessions of a Cornmuffin, because my dad was cornbread. So, get it? Anyways, today will be deemed cornbread and church. And like I've said a million times, my daddy was a character. And God bless him. So my first story will be of him and the ugly little girl. So my dad always went to church in overalls. Like, that was his signature thing. He always wore overalls because he thought that you didn't have to be all gussied up to go to Jesus. So he always wore overalls. And one day he comes home and he's pissed. And I said, "Daddy, what's wrong?" And he said, "That ugly little girl hurt my feelings." And I said, "What ugly little girl are you talking about?" And he said, "That ugly little redheaded girl. You know who I'm talking about." And I said, "Well, what'd she do?" And he said, "I heard her and her friends, they were making fun of my overalls." Like, it had really upset him. And he said, "She's making fun of my overalls. Meanwhile, her mama had to tie a pork chop around her neck to get the dog to play with her because she's so ugly." I said, "Dad, here you are coming from church talking like that. My Lord." He's the only person to get people to cuss on the way to and from church, too. Because my dad had a knack for driving like 15 miles an hour everywhere he went. And I had somebody come up to me one time and they said, "You know, I had never heard my daddy cuss until he got behind your dad going to church." That does not surprise me at all. But even in the service, like, you'd have to look over at him sometimes and you're like, could you behave? God bless. There was this one woman that always got up to sing. Always. Now, I don't know who had lied to her, like, long time ago, because she couldn't sing. She could not sing. Couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. I always likened her to, like, Tammy Wynette on crack. But every time, without fail, God bless my cousin's wife, Jody, because she sat in the pew, like, across from us, and I don't know what it was, but every time this lady would get up to sing, my dad would look over at Jody, and he'd wait till she'd actually pay him some mind, and she'd try her hardest not to look at my daddy. She'd try, because she knew what would happen. She'd crack up, but he'd wait for her, and then about the time she looked at him, he'd do this. Always cracked her up. This woman could not sing, though. I am not even playing. God bless her. Then, one time we had this traveling evangelist there, and he had done a sermon, and I ain't gonna say that it was bad, but it wasn't the greatest thing I'd ever heard in my life. And at the end, he said, "Now, how many of y'all are coming back tonight?" And everybody in the church raised their hand. Liars. And then he jokingly said, "How many of y'all are not coming back?" This was my daddy. I said, "Put your hand down." He said, "I ain't coming back." He was terrible. Good God, y'all. That was cornbread in church.